What's up, everybody? I am Emmanuel E-Man Noisette, and we are here today to talk about Season 3, Episode 8 of From. We are getting close to the finish line, folks, and things are getting incredibly crazy with these wild twists and turns. We got some major answers, okay? Y'all been asking for answers. We got some answers, and I have a lot to cover. Hopefully we can finally settle that big question that got answered here once and for all, maybe. But of course, I gotta thank y'all for continuing to support this channel. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts in the comments. I love to read y'all theories. I love to read your reactions. So thank you for that. I absolutely appreciate it. Shout out to all of you that continue to hit that thank you button as well. I see each and every one of you. I do my best to reply as well. Shout out to y'all. And by the way, I keep seeing y'all. It's like every time I see somebody say, where can I get one of those From shirts? Listen, I put all the links in the description of my video. All you got to do, right under the title, hit those little details. You will see everything. It'll say From t-shirt, from this, from that. Everything, all the links are in the description so that you can go wild, get all your From merchandise, dress your babies up in From Elise stuff. It's all good. I would love it. But by the way, in case you missed it, I just posted my fantastic, wonderful interview with Scott McCord, aka Victor. Make sure you go check that out. And in case you did miss it, I also had my heated conversation with Samantha Brown as we talked about my beef with Officer Acosta. Okay, I have some more great interviews and theory stuff that is going to be coming up very soon. You do not want to miss those. So please be sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure you ring the bell. That is very important. Ring the bell so you don't miss out when I release them. All right, you guys know what time it is. Previously on From. After getting the ultrasound results, Fatima had a bad case of the bubble guts. Victor is still determined to get Jasper to talk by any means necessary. Elgin found a secret room in the cellar thanks to the prompting of the stank breath kimono lady. Julie and Randall came upon some familiar ruins and got a creepy feeling. Fatima was a little tired of Tilly's mouth and got to shanking her in the shed.
You have to run.
All right, let's jump right into the episode. Spoiler alert. The following will contain spoilers for Season 3 of From. Boyd hurries Fatima into the shack. She said that a rage came over her and that made her attack Tilly. Boyd tells her that him and Ellis are going to figure out a way to deal with this situation. He brought a fresh bowl of garbage salad just in case she gets a little hungry. He says that they're going to have to let someone else find Tilly's body and that everything will be okay. Okay, so picking up from the last episode, this could have gone a couple of different ways. I mean, Ellis could have ran away with Fatima since he did witness the dead body, or as it appears, Ellis told his dad what happened and Boyd went straight into action, right? By the way, I noticed a lot of you asking, why did Tilly tell Fatima to run? I mean, I thought it was a little obvious, but I think the main reason why she told her to run was because, people were going to be suspicious. Again, this was not a monster attack. You didn't see open guts or anything like that. So, just like how Sarah had been persecuted by everyone in the town, I'm pretty sure Tilly was just kind of like, run because you just murdered me. And Tilly cares, okay? We can establish that. She's just an old woman with cancer, nothing else devious behind that we know of. And she just cared about Fatima, so that's why she told her to run. Now, I think that Boyd's choice here, it's actually pretty telling. He's willing to protect and lie for Fatima because she's his family now. What did Boyd say? A man protects his family, right?
A man protects his family.
Now, she's important to Ellis, And Ellis is obviously important to him. So by extension, Fatima is important to Boyd. I find this interesting because I think the old Boyd might have acted maybe a little differently, but I'm talking about pre-Abby Boyd. You know, if you notice, Donna has brought this up a couple of times in the series about how Boyd's actions have actually been, in a way, maybe an atonement or a way to make up for Abby's death. So similar to how Ellis is willing to help Fatima because he couldn't help his own mother, I think Boyd could be doing the same thing for Fatima because he neglected Abby when she was, going downhill and it was too late, obviously. Not to mention, we've seen Boyd continue to soften up over the seasons, right? When he had to deal with Frank, he was ready to throw him in the box and all that, but then he eventually eased up when it came to throwing him in the box. He even gave him a talisman, told him to run away and all of that. When he was so sick of Sarah, he started to understand how this place can really play mind games and jack people up. So it's not too surprising to see how he's treating Fatima this way, especially because of how close they are, being a family now. So what did you think about Boyd's decision to hide Fatima away? Do you think he was right? Is he being hypocritical? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Julie continues to be a creep and stalks Randall. She insists that they should go back to the ruins. She thinks that it can help, but Randall is reluctant and tells her to stay away from that place. Back at Colony House, someone does end up finding Tilly's dead body in the shed. Elgin sets the Polaroid down and a picture is immediately taken. Boyd and Ellis arrive to the Colony House, but not before they get their story straight. Boyd tells Ellis to go and find some clothes for Fatima so that she can spend a couple nights in the shack. Kenny brings Boyd to the scene where Acosta is already starting her investigation. She suggests talking to everyone and interview people in Colony House. Boyd offers to go survey the roads just in case if any new arrivals came into the town. Donna comes in and believes that they should go find Sarah and talk to her about this. Man, this stuff is getting real messy already. Now, of course, I'm Team Boyd, but at the same time, I don't know how I feel about him trying to, do all of this cover-up stuff for Fatima. I mean, I get it. She's family and all, but, sir, she might be turning into a whole monster, too. I'm just saying. Ain't nobody got time for all that, okay? I mean, I'm a little surprised here that Ellis, of all people, would think that telling people the truth about Fatima was going to just magically help. I mean, he even said that Fatima might get put in the box by these same people. But since he wants to tell people the truth and all, did he ever tell anyone about the drinking of blood? But come to think of it, hold on, wait a minute. Did Fatima actually tell Ellis that she was drinking blood? Because I think, I think she only told him that she was eating garbage. I don't think she ever told anybody about the blood. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's an important detail that's been left out. But anyway, Boyd is already trying to cover this up, but what I don't like here is Acosta on the case. I don't like this. She's already trying to offer suggestions on how to proceed with this investigation, and there's a good chance that she could mess this up for Boyd. By the way, have y'all noticed my boy Kenny and Acosta, they've been hanging out a little bit more. Y'all seen that? I mean, listen, you got the deputy and you got the rookie cop palling around trying to solve a case. Look, y'all know I'm no fan of Acosta like that, but I might make an exception if she's going to be nice to my boy Kenny, okay? Because y'all know Kenny been through it. This man has gone through a whole lot. He done lost his mama, done lost his daddy. He done lost his kind of sort of not really situationship with Christy. I think Kenny deserves a nice relationship that, after all the stuff that he's been through. Okay. And you know what? Listen, so does Acosta. Acosta and Kenny, I like that. I think it's nice for both of them. Okay. They could talk, have some tea. I like this. Plus, did we see Acosta try and square things up with Boyd too? I don't know. We'll see if it actually happens. But you all tell me, do you think that Acosta and Kenny could be an item? Do you think everything is cool between her and Boyd? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Lastly, I like how Donna realized the real issue was Tilly's situation, right? she immediately put two and two together that Sarah, man, she's the only person in this town that has a bad rap sheet and, you know, has a reputation for offing people. So it does totally make sense that Donna would make Sarah the prime suspect. Elgin is in the clinic looking for something until Randall catches him. Randall actually apologizes for their conflict on the bus. After making up, Elgin steals one of the blood set kits. Back at Sarah's house, she tries to get Jasper to talk, but Victor starts to have a breakdown. The Matthews return home from the woods. Jim tells Tabitha about the phone call that he got from quote-unquote Thomas. Sarah comes over to ask Tabitha to come and help her with Victor. Victor tells Tabitha that she needs to make Jasper talk as he continues to get frustrated. He said that Jasper told Christopher things that they absolutely need to know. Well, I gotta say, I didn't have Randall apologizing to Elgin on my bingo card at all. Y'all remember when Elgin threw up on the shirt back at the beginning of season 2 when they were on the bus? I mean, Randall was being a jerk back then, but I do wonder if while his experience of being taken by the monsters, maybe Randall has changed his perspective on things a little bit, you know? And I'm still wondering, what did the monsters actually do to Randall while they had him? You know, look, either way, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this nicer Randall. I mean, I'm still feeling some type of way about Acosta, but I'm very okay with having multiple beefs with these characters. But anyway, I'm getting more and more convinced that whatever Elgin is doing, it's not a good thing. Now, you stealing blood transfusion kits? Bro, what? You can't be this slow, okay? What could possibly require blood in a place like this that could also be a good thing? I mean, we've seen Jade seeing blood symbols, and even that weirder colonizer pirate looking dude drinking blood out of a skull. Even Fatima is out here being a vampire drinking the Bloody Marys as well. Like, what are we talking about here? Anyway, this doll Jasper, ooh, he is having Victor just go through it. He is putting my man through it. I'm not a doctor or expert or anything like that, but I do believe that we're seeing the other side of Victor basically being on the spectrum here, right? Now, kudos, by the way, to Scott McCord for yet again delivering in this scene. Such a fantastic performance as the role of Victor. Now, I almost thought he was about to start pulling his hair out or something, but my man was doing a good job with this. And by the way, when Sarah went to the Matthews house, don't miss this, but keep in mind, they still don't like her. Okay, let's not forget that this is the same Sarah that just tried to kill their kid a season ago or two, you know? So like, there's still that little bit of animosity that exists between the Matthews and Sarah. Now, one last thing. I know for whatever reason, some people are still sticking to this idea that Tabitha is Victor's sister or whatever that theory is. Listen, I do not personally prescribe to that theory, mainly because I think it has too many holes in it. But I do think that this instance with Tabitha and Victor, it's more so telling of how Tabitha is actually mirroring a mother-like role or relationship to Victor. If anything, Tabitha is more like Miranda than she is to Eloise. Now, notice how she's the only one that's able to calm him down and to get him to open up throughout the whole series. So this is something that usually, you know, if you have parents that have kids that are on the spectrum, autistic, etc., usually it's the parent that's able to find a way to calm their kids down. So I think that this is just a little bit more evidence to suggest that there's a Tabitha Miranda connection that has been hinted throughout the entire series. Julie comes back home and Jim quickly leaves out, leaving his kids alone as usual. She invited Ethan to go see something cool. Jade goes to the bar and finds a hungover Henry in the other room. The two of them sit down at the bar until Jim bursts in, cussing Jade clean out for bringing his kids out into the woods. Jade told him to chill out because Tabitha was the one that came to him. Jim started to call out Jade for his selfishness and arrogance, but Jade snapped back by telling him that he is the one that's actually looking for answers around here that will get people home. Jade heads out and tells Jim that his wife is a whole adult and he may want to go talk to her about the things that she chooses to do. Yes! Get him, Jade! Get him! Tell him about himself, okay? I love this scene. Shout out to Ian Bailey and to David Alplay. Man, this was such a great scene. Good chemistry, very entertaining to watch. And let me just say to Jim, okay? Come on over here and accept your award. Now be careful though, because this L is pretty heavy. Okay, Jade tore this man a whole new one, and Jade was right. I keep telling y'all about Jim. Back in season 1, this man had all the let's find the answers energy. Now Jim wants to go ahead and protect his kids, you know, like how he leaves them alone all the time in a town full of monsters, or, you know, he wants to love his wife, you know, by treating her like a child as she risks her life to get everybody out of this town. Jim, let me ask you something. What is your purpose? Sir, what is your purpose? Listen, don't be like Ellis, okay? Please don't, okay? Find something to do and be useful. Let's not forget that Jim and Jade are probably the two smartest people in this town. They could be the science bros, and we've seen them clash before, like I said, you know, back when they were putting the radio together and making the tower and all that. The main difference now is that Jade is becoming far more open to the metaphysical, supernatural stuff, the weird stuff, and that's allowing him to examine any and all possible answers while Jim is shrinking back in a very non-helpful way. In the bar, Henry offers Jim the valuable advice of learning how to shut the hell up and listen to his wife. He also said that Jim was trying to be so protective mainly because he was scared. The two men sit at the bar as Jim recounts the time when he made a promise to be a better husband and father to his kids. Back at the shack, Ellis showed up to meet Fatima. She's terrified about whatever she believes is inside of her. He leaves her with her lucky handkerchief, and then suddenly the kimono lady appears. At Colony House, Elgin looks at the photograph and it shows a bag of blood. Let me tell you something. I love how Henry told Jim about himself because they do have so much in common. They clearly are parallels of each other, which I don't think is any coincidence. They both have wives who are apparently the chosen ones. They both have or had a son and a daughter, and they both had fathers who were drunks. I think this is more evidence of that whole cycle that has been going on in From. But listen, Henry is right. Jim is being hard-headed, and it's all because of his fear. What I think is important from what Jim said about his dad and the vow he made to be a better dad and husband, it's all tied to his fear, right? And if you think about it, he's been trying to hold on to Tabitha and keep her near because he doesn't actually want to break up his family. They went on that family road trip as a way to try and help their marriage, even though they were on the verge of divorce. The problem and the irony here is that by holding on so tight, it actually jeopardizes his family even more, because doing nothing in a town like this will eventually get you killed. So as hard as it is, or it may be for him to accept, Jim has to let Tabitha go if he really wants to actually protect his family. Now, listen, I don't know. I cannot call it with Elgin at this point. Now he's putting blood in jars. Bro, I'm starting to wonder, like, is this going to be some sort of blood sacrifice thing or something? Because just why? Now, as for Fatima, what the hell? Now the kimono lady is appearing to you too? Well, this time the lady didn't say or do anything. So maybe she doesn't want to intend any harm on Fatima, but I do think it's telling whenever people in this place start to see the same hallucination or the same figure, like at the same time or whatever. So the only time that we have seen that is, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's with the boy in white, right? He's the only metaphysical, supernatural being that we've seen more than one person interact with or be able to talk to, right? Now, I don't know if that's actually a good thing or a bad thing, but it may be something we should keep in mind. So what do you think about the kimono lady's appearance to Fatima? Is this a good sign? Or maybe are the writers of this show just trying to scare us into thinking it's a bad thing? Or is it all vice versa? I don't know. You guys let me know. Julie brings Ethan to the ruins. She confessed to him that she's still hearing the screams from the cicada incident, but it all stops when she comes to this location. She asked Ethan for some advice based on his knowledge of characters in his stories. He told her that she has to be brave and cross a threshold. They hold hands and walk towards the ruins, but Julie finds herself in the same location where her, Randall, and Marielle were trapped before. As she begins to experience a seizure, Ethan runs off to find some help. Over at Colony House, Kenny and Acosta continue their investigation, and the residents continue to point their suspicions towards Sarah. Just then, Ethan comes running in and asks them to come and help Julie. Meanwhile, Julie sees herself and hears others screaming until it all stops. Just then, she sees Martin talking to Boyd. Martin tells her that he needs the rope and she threw it down the well. Martin also tells her that she needs to leave, and he then quickly disappears. She wanders through the door and finds herself now inside some tunnels. She can then hear the voices of Victor and Tabitha on the other end. She continues to hear more voices until Kenny and Acosta drag her body away. Oh my God. Oh my God. There is so much we have to digest and talk about here. And can I just say this? This is why I'm addicted to From. Yes, we have character development and good acting and drama and blah, 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 blah. I came here for the weird stuff. Okay, I want all that Frumish behavior in my storytelling, and this right here, this is what I'm talking about. First of all, let's back up. Let's back up just a little bit. Julie, why would you bring your little brother to a weird place like this? Like, what was the purpose? I could see, now don't get me wrong, you need some backup, okay? You know, that is smart. Maybe go find Marielle. Maybe go find Elgin or go find some adults or some people your own age. Why are you bringing a little kid out here? I don't think that was the best move. I got a feeling she get this from her daddy. Next up, Ethan said that this was a threshold, and as usual, Ethan was right. It was a threshold to another dimension where the evil entity we saw was previously residing. Now, I have mentioned how it seems like Julie, Randall, and Marielle, they might be spiritually scarred or marked in a way by that evil entity. So that could explain that creepy, familiar feeling that she and Randall initially experienced. Well, if my spiritual marking theory is correct, that would explain why she was able to be transported back into this dimension. Actually, let me give you some additional evidence. Remember back at the end of season 2, how Boyd was able to travel back into this same place. He was only able to do so by using the same torch that he initially retrieved from that place. So I guess we can think of it as kind of like having a gateway key for certain dimensions. So let me give you a very rough explanation that might be able to help. So this is not apples to apples. Use your imagination. Imagine I'm in America and I travel to France, right? And I come back to America, but in order for me to go back to France, I need something French in order to allow me to return. So with Boyd, his something French was the torch. With Julie, her something French was being marked by the evil entity that resides in France. I know it's not the best example, but I hope that kind of made some sense. Now, of course, we got to talk about the return of y'all boy Martin. Well, there you have it. After all these episodes, all these years, we finally found out who threw the rope. It was almost like the writers of this show heard all the questions of like, who threw the rope? But who threw the rope? Quick question, excuse me. Yeah, right over here. Who threw the rope? And the writers were like, oh my God, here. He did it. She did it. Here. It's right there. Now, I've already told y'all my own theory. I got my own theory video where I said that Martin is the one who I believe is not real, by the way. I believe he is the evil entity in disguise. I was like, he was responsible for throwing the rope. Now, clearly that may or may not actually be the case, but I'm still going to believe that my theory was still somewhat accurate, right? He didn't physically throw it, but he influenced it. So I think I still get some points there. Now, if you're new to my channel, please feel free to go check out that video and see more about that theory. But while this does appear to give us an answer, in true From fashion, it only prompts more questions. Why does Martin just so happen to know who Julie is? I keep telling y'all he's the evil entity in disguise. He already knew about Abby when he was talking to Boyd, and now he just so happens to know all about Julie too? Come on now. And how does this man keep, disappearing and coming back and stuff? Man, Martin is not real, okay? Martin is not real. Anyway, we then see Julie throwing the rope to Boyd, and she hears Victor and Tabitha when they were in the tunnel. So basically, Julie seems to have maybe traveled in time or to a moment in history going back to around, season 2, episode 1 or so. She also heard other voices calling out to her. Now, I'm not sure if this was Ethan calling out to her from the other dimension back in the woods or not. If you guys heard something different, feel free to let me know. But here's where I think we need to be very, very careful with anything that we conclude, because I know there are going to be knee-jerk reactions and people are going to be like, see, it's time travel. So please hear me very carefully with this. I need everybody watching, and I need y'all to go tell the rest of the family watching. Please hold your horses. Slow down, okay? Do not jump down the rabbit hole just yet. We don't know what the rules in this place are just yet. Time travel is a thing of fiction, okay? That means it's not real. There are no actual set ground rules on how it works. We don't know how it functions in this mode of storytelling. We don't know if this is Back to the Future time travel, or maybe it's time travel like in Avengers Endgame. Matter of fact, we don't even know if it is time travel at all, okay? Think about it. We saw Julie's body having a seizure, right? So whatever was happening might have been just going on in her head, or there's some sort of mind-body separation that happens when people travel to other dimensions. We don't know. So please, I know y'all cheat on me with other From channels, and listen, that's okay. It's cool. It's fine. But don't let nobody tell you guys that they got the answers, that they know what's happening, because we don't. Nobody knows for sure, not yet. Let the show give us the explanation before we go jumping and reaching our own conclusions. Please. But man, oh man, what did y'all think about this doozy of a scene? Are you happy about this possible answer with the rope? Are you not entertained? Okay, let me know what you guys think is going on in this scene in the comments down below. Ellis and Boyd continue to argue about what to do with Fatima. Ellis believes that telling people the truth and going out to live in the woods could help, while Boyd is more concerned about what Fatima might end up doing to Ellis. Donna comes in and Boyd confesses that Fatima killed Tilly. He said that he took her out of the town before everyone woke up. Donna wants them to bring Fatima back. Boyd thinks that people will probably give Fatima a break, but Donna checks him by saying that the people in the town, they don't believe in him the way that they used to anymore. Ellis volunteers to take the blame for Tilly, but Donna shuts that down. Boyd said that he'll take full responsibility for Fatima and bring her into the sheriff's station, but Donna said that if they don't tell everyone about Fatima, she will. Boyd goes off to get them some supplies. Man, well, this is gonna get even tougher now. Okay, first you had Acosta, leading this little investigation. I still think she's gonna be a problem. Now you got Donna. Donna's not even gonna help out either. She about to go snitch. Whoo, listen, I know Boyd and Donna, they got their close friendship, and they share secrets, but Donna, listen, she's threatening to tell everybody like this. This is going to put a lot of pressure on all of this. But listen, Donna, as usual, is right. Okay, Tilly's death, it introduces the same conundrum, the same problem that Father Khatri challenged Boyd about back in season 1. And this was more so the case with Frank. It was one thing to deal with like the external threat of the monsters, but at least with that, people could kind of bond together and hold on together. But if you have the threat from within, if you have people that you can't trust, that fracture can cause more chaos than the monsters ever could. Sarah and Tabitha continue to help Victor remember what happened that day with Jasper and Christopher. He recalled that Christopher and Jasper were talking in the church. So they head over to the church and Victor begins to remember what exactly they were talking about. But that's when he recalls it wasn't Jasper that was talking to Christopher, it was the boy in white. He said that the answers to the end are in the beginning and that it started with the children. The people that the children trusted actually ended up murdering them, but not before those who loved them told them a story and gave those children hope. Before the kids were killed, they poured their hope into the roots, and those became the faraway tree. The boy in white told Christopher that he needs to go through the faraway tree to save the kids, but Christopher didn't want to go. Instead, Victor told his mom, and that is what prompted his mom to go to the tree. Okay, answers. Okay. Listen, I don't want to hear nobody complain about answers no more. Listen, I know we're going to have some more questions and all that. You getting answers, okay? Because this right here, this sounds like a big, juicy, fat answer to me. So let me start off by saying Victor has already demonstrated to us time and time again he's not a reliable narrator given his shaky memory on things, right? Keep in mind, this is the same man who went decades and forgot that he had a whole sister. Okay, now, but when he does finally remember his suppressed memories, that's when we can go off of that. That's when we can actually be like, okay, now we can work with this. And we did learn a couple of things here in his recounting. First, Jasper was not the one talking to Christopher. And let's not completely disregard Jasper. I still think that he is a focus, but we'll talk about him at a later point. Let's focus more so on the boy in white for now. So far, I know some people want to believe that the boy in white could be evil. I personally don't believe in that because I have seen the boy in white demonstrate that he's been more helpful than any other weird thing in this place. He's helped Victor survive for years when he was all alone. He helped Victor navigate the monster tunnels in season 2 to help Victor and Tabitha escape. He directed people to faraway trees. Remember during the massacre at Colony House and with Sarah and Boyd, it was the boy in white that helped them go into the trees and save them from, let's just say, immediate danger multiple times. So with that said, the boy in white to me is definitely helpful, but he was the one that was talking to Christopher. Now, I think that is actually a positive thing. And according to Victor, he was telling Christopher the story about the children. So let's talk about that. Now, Victor said that the children were born in the dark and they were murdered in the dark. I'm thinking that this is probably in reference to the tunnels and the underground where the monsters sleep. That's the dark that he's talking about. We did see them ashy kids in that prison-like space back in season 2 when Tabitha was in the tunnel. So I think that's what he's referring to, right? Now, Christopher, supposedly, he was the one that was supposed to go to the tree to save the children. That to me sounds like it wasn't actually Miranda that was the chosen one, but it probably was Christopher. Since he didn't step into this destiny, so to speak, Miranda went instead, but as we know, she ends up dead instead. But man, that's got to be rough for Victor. You know, he told his mama this story, and in a way, he's kind of the reason why she went to jump off into this tree and later die. Ooh, man, I know that's going to weigh on him heavy. Now, here I thought that the boy in white was talking to Miranda already since, you know, she's had visions of him, right? But it seems like Miranda thought that she was the main hero of this story and only got caught up in the end. Now, I've heard this theory before, and I think I'm kind of actually buying into it, but what Victor said might be a little bit more support or fuel for the fairy theory. Now, to put it loosely, the fairy theory suggests that those dusty kids are actually fairies. Now, if that's true, this reminds me of the Children of the Forest if you're a Game of Thrones fan, right? According to that lore. Just like those Children of the Forest, men came around, they had a bond with these, Children of the Forest or whatever, but then they ended up killing them and bad things happened. So it sounded like this is what happened in the past. Some people came across these fairy children or whatever. Maybe the men saw them doing magic, or maybe there was something that they wanted from the kids, but they ended up sacrificing them on these stones. And as a result, their hopes, or I don't know, their magic or whatever, went into the roots of the trees, and that's why the faraway trees have their abilities. Now, this makes more sense when you think about Jade's vision at the end of season 2, where he saw those kids laying on the stones and the roots in the trees started to form the symbol, which he keeps on seeing. Now, if this is true, and we're dealing with some sort of magic and stuff, then that might explain why people's dreams and hopes and fears are all mixed into this place, right? What it doesn't explain, however, is who or what the evil entity is that has imprisoned these kids and continues to torment everyone else. So once again, we have answers. Don't go saying we ain't got no answers. We have answers, but we got more questions. Okay, so what did you guys think about Victor's story and these new shocking revelations? Back in the woods, Elgin looks down at a picture of a shack and finds Fatima there. Boyd and Ellis come with supplies for Ellis and Fatima to run away into the woods. When they arrive, they find out that the shack is actually empty. Elgin leads Fatima into the cellar with the secret room. He tells her that Ellis is waiting there for her. He tells her that she must be there for the sake of the baby, and she's not the mama. Fatima tries to escape, but Elgin drags her back into the room. Oh, hell no. See, so this was Elgin's plan? This was it? So, okay, apparently he's doing all this weird, creepy stuff for the sake of the baby. So, okay, there's a baby now? Like, I'm so confused. Okay, like, maybe Fatima is not turning into a monster after all, but he said that the baby wasn't hers, so whose baby is it? What are we talking about? Is this some sort of immaculate conception? What is happening here? Now that I think about it, the blood that he drew was probably actually for Fatima, since we do know she has a craving for that type of Bloody Mary stuff anyway. But what I don't like here is that Elgin had to lie to her in this whole process, by saying that Ellis is waiting for you and all of that. That right there should tell him that whatever he thinks he's doing is obviously a bad thing. I think this confirms that we have another Sarah situation on our hands. Someone who believes that they're doing something good, but at the end, they end up doing something really evil, right? So, I mean, how does that saying go? Like, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. But the bigger question here is, why does Elgin think that this baby is a good thing? I mean, I'm sure this is what the kimono lady probably told him or promised him, but at this point, I think we could say that she's not good. Okay, the kimono lady is clearly not good. I mean, this baby is making Fatima eat garbage, drink blood, and kill people, and Elgin wants to save it? No. Hell no. No. Anyway, what did you guys think about this scene with Elgin and Fatima? Is there something else more sinister going on? Do you think Fatima is turning into a monster? Is it all in her head? Or is she actually having a real demon baby? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, guys, this is the point of the episode where I have to let you all know my review and my take on it. So I think that this was a pretty dramatic uptick, especially compared to last week's episode. I love that we're getting more of the weird horror sci-fi stuff. This did nothing else but have my mind racing in all directions. thanks to the storytelling. I mean, isn't that what we're all here for with this From show? Of course, I do appreciate that we got some answers because things were dragging just for a little bit, but now it seems like the plot and the story is starting to pick right back up again. So when it comes to the rating, I'm going to give this episode a rating of 8 out of 10. I think overall it was entertaining and I liked how things are building up. And I'm very, very curious to see what happens in the next episode, especially with Julie's character. So you all let me know, what did you think about this episode? Where do you rank it on a scale from 0 to 10? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. Sorry, no secret surprise sneak peek. I do have a couple extra things that I do want to share with you all, but they're a little spoilery, so I have to wait on those. But this is why you should be subscribed, because I'm gonna drop these things a little later. So make sure you stay tuned for all that great From stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you all later. If you're new here and you like what you see, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss out the next time I drop a video. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.